All right, we are back here in the fan forum for the first time in a while. We are doing something brand new on the podcast. I think it's not been attempted yet. We're going to do a full mock draft of the first round of the NFL draft on Thursday. We are recording it 1 week to the day. So this could be very outdated by the time the draft starts in case there's more trades and whatnot. But we're going to have some fun here, make some picks, see how right or wrong we are. Join me today. First out, the unofficial host of this podcast, the host of the Green Skies podcast. He's been on a little bit of a hiatus. Will Schneiderhan is here. Will, how are you?
I'm good. Good, Mike. Yeah. Excited for some NFL draft.
Yeah, I'm excited too. We have a lot of fun. Also, it'd be the guy who suggested that we do this on the podcast. I want to include him in the mix here. The great Alan Austin is here. Alan, how are you?
Mike, I'm well. Thank you. How are you, sir?
Doing good. I want to thank you for this idea. This is a lot of fun. I was thinking about it. I'm like, this is a very interesting concept to do for this podcast. Sort of take a different direction because usually I have like the expert on the NFL, like all the prospects. The audience didn't seem to love that one so much. So I figured let's try to do a little local spin first and then we'll do a mock draft and see how that goes.
Yeah, I mean, it's always fun to do mocks. And at this point in the game or the week before, I feel like, you're all mocked out. So to just have fun with it and, maybe take a chance here and there, it'll be a little more entertaining.
Okay, so here's how this is going to work for the audience at home here. So we know who number one, number two are. We will go through those in just a minute, just because we're not going to waste our time debating those picks. Everybody knows what they're going to be, barring something very freaky here. The three of us have split up the other 30 picks in the round. We each are doing 10. We are not going to make trades because this is a audio medium. And even if you're watching on the Zoom, it'll be complicated to say, oh, the Falcons are trading here with all these future picks involved. The order we're going with is the order that we are starting the draft with. So we will let you know if we think a pick could be trade bait. But for now, we're going to assume everyone stays put, which will not happen. Am I right, Will?
Yeah, because I tell you, I don't even know how I even when those trades are made, I don't fully understand all the picks that are involved, and they're right in front of my face.
Yeah, and so everybody's going to make their picks, give a little explanation. I'm going to ring everybody in here with the NFL draft sound. So when the pick is in, we will let everybody know that. And we're going to start off here. Pick number one, obviously, the Jaguars taking Trevor Lawrence. Pick number two, the New York Jets take Zach Wilson. Those are off the board here. Those are very obvious. Allen is up first. He is picking third for the San Francisco 49ers. Allen, let's see who they are going with.
With the third pick in the draft, the San Francisco 49ers select Justin Fields, quarterback, Ohio State.
That's an interesting choice there. I know they're going quarterback. Why did you settle on Fields?
I just don't see it with Mac Jones, and even if people do believe in him, to use a number 3 overall pick on him seems highly irregular. I think the Fields medical reports aren't as bad, and I think the 49ers are throwing out false info so that no one tries to maybe leapfrog them with the Jets or try something crazy. I don't know. I just think it's a lot of misinformation purposely being put out there by San Francisco. I think if Fields checks out medically, which I think he will, I think he's the guy. I just don't see how you could take Mac Jones over Justin Fields personally.
All right, Will, what do you think they're going to do at number 3? And I feel like we know they take a quarterback. Which one do you think? Do you agree with Allen there on Fields?
I mean, it's a 50-50. So I guess it really Allen gave a great argument as to why they would do it. I do. Something feels a little like I don't know. Mac Jones at 3 does feel a little bold, doesn't it? So I feel like you said, if it's close in the determination between the two, I feel like you would have to go with Justin Fields.
The only other thing I could think of is like a Dave Gettleman situation where he falls for stuff. So maybe the 49ers fell for fake Mac Jones gushing reports. So they thought, oh, maybe we have to jump up to 3 to get him. But I don't think Jones was worth a 6, and I certainly don't think this Jones is worth a 3. So
yeah, the thing about Justin Fields, I'm not sure I agree with that take, is just because the 49ers, they had not seen his pro day yet when they made that trade, which to me, when you look at that, that's like they saw one of the other two guys, either Trey Lance or Mac Jones, said, we have to get that, guys. And they know what the Jets are going to do it too. So I think it's one of the other two. I do not agree with that take on Fields, but that's just me.
I also am drafting as if I were the GM for the Niners.
That's fair.
So I would take Fields over any of the others, honestly.
Okay. So they're on the board. Number 4, I am picking for the Atlanta Falcons here. This is a pick. They could easily trade this pick. They have a quarterback. They extended Matt Ryan's money out to say, okay, here we go. We can, get perhaps some cap room. We got a couple more years of him. They want to shop this pick for whatever quarterback left on the board, whether it's Fields, Lance, Jones. Somebody wants to come up there and get it, they can get the pick. But since we're not doing trades, they're going to stay put here. With the fourth pick in the NFL draft, the 2021 NFL draft, the Atlanta Falcons are selecting tight end Kyle Pitts out of Florida. I think this is simple marriage of need with the best prospect on the board is not a quarterback. Give Matt Ryan a big weapon on that offense. They try and catch the Bucs in the South. Kyle Pitts to the Atlanta Falcons.
I almost think they shouldn't trade the pick and they should go take Pitts. That's kind of like where I'm feeling. If I'm a Falcons fan, unless I get offered a king's ransom where I can like really, really benefit from trading it, I want Pitts on my team.
Yeah, partnering with those guys, Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley. I mean, God, they wouldn't play too much defense, but man, they could probably score.
They certainly can. And we're going up to number 5 now, the Cincinnati Bengals. Will Schneiderhan's on the clock. Feel like the choice of them is either do we protect Joe Burrow or we get a pass catcher. So with the 5th overall pick, who are the Bengals taking, Will?
So I actually do think they might trade back, but it's obvious. You got to go get Penei Sewell. Like, there's you can't pass on that, in my opinion. We just saw the Sam Darnold, show unfold in front of our eyes as Jets fans. So go get as Dave Gettleman would call it, a hog molly and just protect this guy for the next 10 years.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. I think the thing with them is I've been seeing more. I mean, they did sign Riley Reid from free agency. I think the temptation could be there to take Jamar Chase and reunite him with Joe Burrow, but I would also agree. I would take Sewell if I was in the room.
I just think you can get receivers every year. I just think offensive linemen like him, you can't pass up on that, especially tackles.
Yeah, that is true.
I completely agree. I saw some reports that people are worried about Sewell's footwork in the NFL or some nonsense. Look, when you're that high a prospect, you're nitpicking at that point. Like, you got to get the talent in the room. And honestly, if he pans out, it could be Trevor Lawrence level once in a lifetime prospect status if he pans out the way he should.
All right. Absolutely. Let's go to the next pick here. Number 6. This pick originally belonged to the Philadelphia Eagles. They trade to the Miami Dolphins, who jumped back from 3 to 12, then went up from 12 to 6, using some capital to go back up there. Alan, who are they taking at number 6?
With the number 6 selection, the Miami Dolphins select Jalen Waddle, wide receiver, Alabama.
Why do you think they take Waddle over the other 2 pass catchers?
The reason I chose Waddle over the other 2 is because I believe his skill set's probably a little bit more versatile than the other 2. He could play slot. He could go wherever you need him. And for a guy like Tua, who needs as many bailout opportunities as possible, I think you're going to want Waddle being the guy, maybe in the slot, maybe streaking, doing whatever he can to get open more so than the others can. And of course, the Alabama connection. So I think they're going to pick the guy who can help Tua get out of the most jams athletically, and that's Jalen Waddle.
Yeah, I think also with that pick, I think the interesting thing there is obviously the connection with Tua and play together at Alabama. Plus, like the NFL, all you hear is like, we want the next Tyreek Hill, we want the next speed guy, and he's got a lot of those comparisons. So I think that's a pick where you can say, he can be our Tyreek Hill in this offense. I
really think that Tua needs that kind of bailout player. If he's going to succeed in this league, and believe it or not, I think his rope is getting shorter and shorter, seemingly, because I don't think a lot of people were impressed with him so far. So they need to give him somebody who can find open field anywhere at any time. And I think he's probably the best option of those 3.
I would agree with that. I'm up now. Pick number 7, Detroit Lions are on the board. They had the big offseason trade earlier. They trade for Matthew Stafford, got 2 future first-round picks from the trade that Stafford to the Rams, got 2 future first-round picks and Jared Goff back. They could take a quarterback here. They could trade back. I think they're going to stay put here because I think they like how the board is shaking out in this mock. So at the 7th pick in the 2021 NFL draft, Detroit Lions selecting Jamar Chase, wideout from LSU. Get your Kenny Golladay replacement. Get a go-to guy for Jared Goff. Jamar Chase to the Lions.
No problem with it. I feel like ever since we were born, Mike, we're both in our early 30s. Will, I'm not sure how old you are, but I think every year of our lives, the Lions have drafted a wide receiver in the first round of the NFL draft. I don't think they've ever gone away from that. But again, this is an elite class of wide receivers. I think this is the wide receiver draft, and there's 3 that, maybe 4 that are head and shoulders above the rest. So can't go wrong. If I was the Lions, though, I would have personally not taken the wide out here. I would have taken Christian Darrisaw. I think if anything, Jared Goff needs is as much protection as possible. The Lions have not been known for their offensive line. I would have tried to get him because Darrisaw can move around the line a little bit. That's where I would have went, but there's no quarrels here from me on taking Chase.
Indeed. And Will is up now. He's picking number 8 for the Carolina Panthers. We just traded for Sam Darnold. So does that take them out of the quarterback mix? Do they still take one? Will, what are the Panthers doing at number 8?
Yeah, so this one was tough because it was that. Do they go with a receiver? Do they get the lineman? But again, I'm sticking with the same theme that I went with the Cincinnati's pick. I think they're going to pick Rashawn Slater here. I know it's probably a little bit of a stretch. I know he's kind of falling into that. It seems like Slater's ranked, in that middle round kind of an area, but this is a guy that it kind of seems like he's a little positionless right now. You don't know if he's going to play inside, if he's going to play outside, but that is in my opinion, that's a good decision to make. Like this guy projects to either be a really good tackle or a really good guard. So again, get the offensive line talent when you can. That is my method all the time. Cause you might think, we could pass it up and address it in free agency, which seems to never work. Maybe we'll pick another one later on in the draft, which doesn't always pan out. Get him while you can. And, give Sam Darnold something that he's probably been looking for since he was at USC with some protection.
Yeah, I think that's a good pick. I like the Rashawn Slater move, and they can stick him right, left tackles, give him a shot there because they have Taylor Moton on the right side. He's a very good player. You get booking tackles to Sam Darnold. He's never had that in his life with the Jets. He would be a very happy man.
Yeah, just a little bit.
All right, we are up to pick number 9 now. Allen is back on the board. He is picking for the Denver Broncos. They could be a quarterback contender here. Drew Lock is still on the roster. No competition brought in for him. They could be trading for Teddy Bridgewater. They could trade down. They could take some needs. Allen, what are the Broncos doing at number 9?
The number 9 selection, the Denver Broncos are taking Micah Parsons, linebacker, Penn State.
Interesting. Why Micah Parsons is not quarterback?
Because I think they want to give Drew Lock another year. I think John Elway's the type of guy who will rather go get someone established after the Drew Lock experiment and pay for a free agent. I also think that defense needs to do what they can to shut down 2 offensive juggernauts in that division. So the way to survive in that division is going to be defense, defense, defense. And Micah Parsons has a little versatility. I know his stock dropped from some questionable character reports, but I think those reports are questionable within themselves. I think he's fast. I think he's quick. I think his stock's rising back up a little bit. And I think the Broncos will see him to be a can't miss prospect at number 9 in this draft.
Well, if you were the Broncos right here, I know Allen picked for them. If you were on the board, would you have taken a quarterback? Would you have gone with Parsons?
I do actually side a lot with Allen's method where it's like, do you really so we're saying Trey Lance is probably like the guy or a Mac Jones. Like, I don't know. I think what we're going to see a lot this year, and I actually feel like we've seen it so far in the picks we've made, it's value over need necessarily right now. So I actually do think that that's the case. And I think he's spot on with how John Elway would go about doing the quarterback. I don't think Elway really likes the idea of drafting a quarterback. I think he'd just rather go, hey, how he got the last Super Bowl winning one, which is go find him on the market.
Yeah, indeed. I'm up now for pick number 10. The Dallas Cowboys are on the board. This draft has gone according to plan for the Cowboys. They need a corner. All of them are still here. So this makes this pick very, very easy. And with the 10th overall pick in the Just End the Suffering podcast mock draft, the Dallas Cowboys taking Patrick Surtain II out of Alabama. They need a starter in the secondary. Ready to play from day one. Alabama guy. Got to make that pick. Patrick Surtain to the Cowboys.
Partner him with former Bama corner, Trayvon Diggs.
Yeah. The Alabama reunion in the secondary, Allen.
Yeah, I mean, Dallas is in a good spot because all of their major needs are defense. And I think this is going to be like if they, for Denver, I couldn't decide between Parsons and Surtain. A quarterback never even really entered my head for those reasons. I think where Surtain might fall to some of the other cornerbacks is that he's projected to mostly be that, number 2 covering / slot cornerback. So I'm thinking he might slip actually, but I think you're going to get one of the more coming out of college polished players. And I think the Cowboys desperately need some discipline on that defense. So I think it's a perfect fit.
It is. And Will, we're going to the Giants, who find themselves in a very fascinating spot in our mock draft because Rashawn Slater is gone. 2 of the receivers are gone. 2 quarterbacks are still here. So at this point, this will be a spot where if you're Dave Gettleman, maybe you should trade back. Maybe you should take the chance here. I know, Will, we are not trading here. So we're going to live up to Dave Gettleman's reputation, never trading back. So who are the Giants taking at number 11 based on how this board has fallen for them?
So I'm going to say this man has never passed up value in his life. Devonta Smith, former Heisman's just sitting there. I mean, there's just, think of it. Just in general, you're Dave Gettleman, right? We know how he drafts. The former Heisman is just sitting there. He's not passing that up. And it's not like they wouldn't need him. I actually think, all joking aside, putting Smith in this offense, you have Kenny Golladay as kind of that one-on-one, jump ball receiver. Underneath, you already have Sterling Shepard, but, with Sterling Shepard, no fault of his own, he's hurt a lot, and I don't really know how much longer he's going to be with the Giants. But that aside, Devonta Smith, put this dude in the slot, and he could just tear it apart for this team with Evan Ingram, Kyle Rudolph. Again, you need to make sure Daniel Jones is your guy. Go get this guy and just say, this is right there at Dallas, in my opinion, if they get a guy like this with, best offenses in that NFC East.
Now, I know you're a Giant fan, so what do you think about this pick?
I love it. I think, Gettleman he does the opposite of getting cute. He does what he thinks is the most obvious thing in the world all the time. And he usually makes his decision a year ahead of time. Andrew Thomas, Daniel Jones, case in points. He does not budge. If he sees him sitting there, he will take him. And the defense was really good last year. So it's not like we're so struggling on defense that we can't afford to take anyone else, or we have to take anyone else. But as a guy who's not sold on Daniel Jones, if he can't succeed with an offense that includes Devonta Smith, I mean, the writing has been on the wall for a while. It's time to just, break that wall down, to quote Chris Jericho, and start over with a quarterback. This is too good a spot to pass up. And as a Giant fan, I will be ecstatic if they take Devonta Smith here.
I will also say Devonta Smith is a good pick here, especially if Slater is off the board. I think personally, if I'm sitting there at 11, though, and I know there's 2 quarterbacks there in our scenario here, I'm just pulling the phone, calling New England, calling the Bears, saying, "Hey, what do you want to do? Get up here, number 11. What are you gonna give me? I could drop back a couple slots, get another lineman. Maybe Smith to keep slipping. You don't know, but I would build some assets in here, get some capital. But that's just me. I'm not Dave Gettleman.
If I'm the Giants and I can trade back, then I'm going to take Elijah Vera Tucker at one of these later spots. That's how I would fill the need after that. So that would be my game plan as a Giants fan. And yes, I've thought about it. So.
Very obviously.
Yeah, but Dave Gettleman will not trade back. He will sit here and take whoever's there.
Well, that's fine. If it's Devonta Smith, woohoo! If he takes someone ridiculous though at the spot, I don't know what I'll do. I don't know what I'll do.
All right, so you're up now for pick number 12. You're picking for the Philadelphia Eagles here. They traded back from 6 to 12. They were hoping somebody would still be here. All the receivers are now gone. What do you think they're going to do here at number 12?
Are you going to play the song?
Yep.
Okay. With the number 12 selection in the draft, the Philadelphia Eagles select J.C. Horn, South Carolina cornerback.
So what's the motivation behind Horn here?
Farley's got too many injury concerns. No one seems to trust his reports. I would have Farley going to the Panthers if he had a clean bill of health, but he's slipping on everyone's boards. I think if they can't get one of the big 3 receivers, they're going to trust that second tier later on, and they're going to get someone who's, Horn's stock is rising. A lot of clubs think he's going to go mid to first round. So the son of former NFLer Joe Horn, I think honestly, I know there's so many good receivers. I think the Eagles need to take defense anyway. So I have them taking who is considered the third best, but health-wise, the second best corner in this draft.
I also think they're open to shop this if their quarterback's slipping. I think they'll be getting phone calls if this is the case.
I think the Eagles are in such a spot that talent will help no matter what. So they can either trade it or they can take someone. To me, they're much worse than a 12. Like they could be a top 5 team theoretically, and they traded back. So I think you take Horn here, and if you could trade the pick, you better be getting something good, because Eagle fans are not happy with Howie Roseman.
No, they are not. And I'm going to be up now. I'm picking 13 for the Los Angeles Chargers, who have been trying to help Justin Herbert by building up a wall. We're going to keep building the wall here. We're taking Elijah Vera Tucker out of USC. That's been mocked to the Chargers for pretty much the entire cycle. It happens here. Vera Tucker to the Chargers. They keep building the Great Wall of Los Angeles for Justin Herbert.
Makes perfect sense.
You have to do it. I mean, you can't sit there, and I think everybody who has a young quarterback saw what happened with Darnold, and every team just is going to just be like, there's no way we can allow that to happen. You know, it's inexcusable.
Yeah, you have arguably a year from now a top 5 talent quarterback. Let's not get him destroyed on the field.
Yeah.
All right. And here we are. Pick number 14. Will is up for the Minnesota Vikings, and they are an interesting spot because who knows? They believe in Kirk Cousins a long time. They have 2 quarterbacks on the board here. They got other needs. I think Will would agree is probably a spot that would be definitely pick up the phone if they're having quarterbacks split this far, but we'll go to Will, see who they are taking because they are not trading in our mock draft.
I'm going to say Trey Lance, just because if this is what happens on draft night, yeah, I had offensive linemen there, but just going through this, like, doesn't it make a little too much sense for that? This is a guy that people seem to like. Obviously, Kirk Cousins is not the guy there, and if you can get him in the room and do kind of like what their division rivals are doing at Green Bay with Jordan Love, like the kid doesn't have to play right away, but if he does, then that's fantastic. That means he's played really well. But I think if this is how it falls on draft night, I think that is exactly what they might do here.
Yeah, Alan, I think I agree with this logic here because I feel like this is a spot where you're the Vikings. You don't know if you should rebuild or reload, and you have a quarterback that's got some talent, needs to sit behind a guy and learn a little bit. I feel like it's a perfect spot for him to go.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm going to be honest with you. I think Kirk Cousins is the most overrated big-name quarterback in the NFL. I think he's pretty atrocious at times. I wouldn't want him learning from him, but at the same time, you got to hope that his natural abilities will take over. And I think the Vikings can benefit so much from an athletic quarterback, from somebody who can mix it up with Dalvin Cook, get the ball to Thielen on an option or something crazy. That team desperately needs a change of pace. Trey Lance, I think, is the perfect fit for Minnesota, and I've thought this for like 3 months now. So I think it's too good. And he's up, he played up north. He's going to be local-ish for the fan base. I think it's just perfect.
All right. It is perfect. And New England up now for Allen, number 15. They are looking for a quarterback. 4 have gone. 1 is still on the board, and he's got some ties because of the Belichick-Saban connection. We'll see if Allen goes that way with the Patriots pick.
In true Patriot fashion, what they want will fall right into their laps without having to move a muscle. Mac Jones, quarterback, Alabama.
Will, would you be upset if you have to deal with Mac Jones in the division for the next couple of years?
Primarily, yeah. I have to side with the fact that Belichick's probably going to get it right. And, that's just, yeah, I'm not happy about that. But hey, if this comes to fruition, just applaud Bill Belichick, man, because Tom Brady leaves, the dude has a terrible year. Okay. Oh, guess what? I'm just going to spend all the money in free agency and get some really good players on cheap deals that in a year with the new CBA, it's going to look like nothing. Here, also, I'm going to get the quarterback who can probably replace Tom Brady. I mean, he's never going to be Tom Brady, probably. That's ridiculous. No one is. But to get a guy like that, oh, man, that's that's not good news.
Yeah, Alan, I think that's probably the fit is logical. Just like I said, again, the Belichick-Saban connection with the Patriots-Alabama thing. I'm sure he's got all the inside scoops from Saban. And I think this is a spot where Belichick can say, hey, he's got accuracy. He's smart. I don't need the biggest arm. He will do enough for me to win.
He's like the definition of the Patriot way kind of guy. I'm not sold on Mac Jones at the NFL level. I think he's going to have more of a Colt McCoy type career arc. Mark my words. But if there's a team who can milk whatever they can out of a guy, it's the Patriots, Cam Newton aside. I think, Mac Jones on the Patriots will be a better quarterback than Mac Jones on the 49ers. So it's interesting. But as a Jet fan, please keep in mind, you're getting a better quarterback than the Patriots are no matter what this year. So you should feel good about that.
Yeah, we should. I'm up now, pick number 16 for the Arizona Cardinals. They have a couple of needs that could be interesting here. I think this is a pick they're willing to move if the right offer comes their way. I think there's some talent sliding down the board, but I'm going to fill one of the needs right here. I think the Cardinals here, they need to find a corner because Patrick Peterson is left in free agency. I think they take a shot here. I know the medicals are sketchy. I know he sat out last year, opted out. I'm taking Caleb Farley out of Virginia Tech to be a new starting corner for the Cardinals.
Cardinals have had a lot of draft luck the last couple of years. They fell into Isaiah Simmons. They were able to get the offensive tackle late. I forget his name off the top of my head right now, but things like this just seem to be happening to the Cardinals. Now, fingers crossed, you want to see the players do the best they can. And this is a big, big asterisk next to Caleb Farley's name.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think the pressure is on there, but they're sort of in a spot where they're trying to go for upside. I think that's what they're going to do here. Will gets to enter the mind now of John Gruden and enter the Las Vegas Raiders draft room. And that's always an adventure. So let's see what Will has cooked up for us here at 17.
So I just think they're going to put that defense already is pretty talented on I would say on the line more so, but I think they're going to go get a linebacker and go get Jeremiah. I always butcher this dude's name. Owasu Karamoa, the dude from Notre Dame.
Yep.
Just because I feel like that's like a Gruden guy. Like, just get a guy who's going to go out there, make a bunch of plays, and kind of slowly but surely put a lot of talent on that defense. I know they have the safety Abrams. They've done well with the line. Crosby's on there and so on. So yeah, I think he's just going to go make it easy. Offensively, I'm sure, they feel pretty set on that end. I know the offensive line definitely could use some help, but I think for here, play it safe, go defense, because someone's got to try to stop Patrick Mahomes at some point.
And you also broke up the mock marriage of Owosu Karamoa to Washington football team. Well, that's been mocked forever. So good job by Gruden to stop that one.
Yeah. If it's going to be someone who disrupts something, it feels pretty safe to say it's going to be Gruden.
All right. And coincidentally, Allen's back up. The Dolphins are back up again, this time their own pick at number 18. Allen, what are they doing with the other first round pick?
With the next pick, the Miami Dolphins select Jalen Phillips, edge rusher out of Miami. It's one of those situations where I feel like you have multiple first round picks. You got to get one that, you got to be able to afford them both. And this is a guy who's really versatile. He can either be a 4-3 defensive end or a 3-4 linebacker. And I think the Dolphins love versatility. So he's a guy you could slot anywhere on the defense. His stock has risen. He's going to be a hometown guy college wise. I think they're going to attack defense here. So Jalen Phillips.
Yeah, well, I think this is also a spot here with the Dolphins where they could take a big swing here. I know he's got concussion history is concerning, but if he's healthy, that's a fearsome pass rush on that line.
Yeah, and it's just the Dolphins have their past about 2 years probably, but it's just they've done such a fantastic job of getting talent on that team and filling holes, and they have definitely taken the approach of quantity over quality at times, but that allows you just to take the swings here, and you can roll the dice a little bit more, and if it pays off, boy, does it pay off.
It certainly does. And I'm up now, number 19 for the good old Washington football team. They've had some dreams popped here in this mock draft. They were thought they would get a quarterback. They went 14-15. Thought they would get Jeremiah Owusu-Karamoah. He's gone. So with this pick, they're going to fill another need they've had after last year. With the 19th overall pick, the Washington football team selects Christian Darrisaw, the offensive tackle for Virginia Tech. They find the heir apparent to Trent Williams.
And that's another, you don't have to touch that defense, right? That defense is pretty set. So I think that's just a fantastic pick if you're going to do it.
Yeah, I think it's a good pick as well. Very easy, very simple, need filled. Alan, you got actually Will's up. He gets a fun one here. He gets the Chicago Bears, who do not get a quarterback. Follow them. They stuck with the red rifle, at least for now, unless he does something crazy here, takes like Davis Mills, the sixth quarterback in the first round. Will, what are the Chicago Bears going to do at number 20?
I really wanted to do that. I did. Just because like that name has just been creeping up more and more, but I don't think the Bears are going to do it. Not after what happened with Trubisky. Like, imagine they do it again. So I'm saying Jenkins, the tackle from Oklahoma State, just because again, just get the talent on the line, go and figure it out. Like, don't reach for a quarterback now because you want a quarterback. This Bears, they have to realize where they are. I hope they realize where they are. Like, just get talent now, figure it out, get people in the room, and don't reach for a quarterback again. Because if it doesn't work, I don't know what's going to happen.
I feel like if they like Davis Mills, a spot where you trade back maybe to like 28, 29, take it at the end of the first round.
Absolutely. Like again, if we were doing trade backs, I don't think they make this pick.
All right, so we're up now to pick number 21. Alan is on the board here. He is picking for the Indianapolis Colts, who have their quarterback with Carson Wentz. They feel like they could use a tackle here after Anthony Costanzo retired. We'll see if they go that way in Alan's mock. Let's see what's coming up.
Yeah, the Colts are going to select Dylan Raduns here. If I botched the pronunciation of that last name, I apologize. The tackle from North Dakota State, link them up with Carson Wentz. It's too good to be true, and it's a need. So I think they're just going to play it safe.
Yeah, I think it's a fair point. I also think with the way the board falls, I think the Colts are trying to trade up if they see those two tackles hovering like around those picks, and they try and get up ahead of the Washington and Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't comment on it, but I don't know if Darisaw is going to make it to 19. I think he's going to go way before that. So if that means the Colts have to jump, they might.
I think they will. And I'm up now. Pick number 22. Tennessee Titans are here. This is a spot where they need to get another receiver here. Corey Davis is now on the Jets. They're going to take one here. They're going to take Kadarius Toney. I believe it's out of Florida. I don't know if it's Florida State, but the number 4 receiver in the class. Put him opposite A.J. Brown. See what happens here. Kadarius Toney to the Titans.
Sorry, I'm typing it. But yeah, no, that is why I was thinking about that too. When I was going through these and just kind of looking through the mock drafts and so on. But again, just fill the need, replace and fill the need.
Absolutely. And Will is up now, picking for our Jets at number 23. They could use a corner. There's a couple left. They could use offensive linemen. All the edge rushers seemingly here, except for Jalen Phillips. So what are you going to do what do you think Joe Douglas does here at 23?
I'm going right to edge and taking Michigan's. This is another one I always mess up. Kitty Pay, right? Is that it? Yeah. I know this is like one of those ones where his numbers don't really necessarily jump off the board and so on. And people, all the intangibles are there. All this technique and style is there. Just put this guy on the edge and let him do work, right? I mean, I think you partner him on this defense with a guy like Carl Lawson. You put him on that end. It's a very talented group if you just add a guy like this to it. And I know, listen, you're a Jets fan, Mike. I'm a Jets fan. Get to the quarterback.
Yeah. I mean, I would have no problem with this pick. I mean, I prefer a corner, but are you taking Greg Newsome here? That's a question I'm not sure. Like I feel they could take a guard in the second round. I feel that's sort of set in stone here, but I think when we know they're weak in the corner, but I feel like if you have the potential here to build that pass rush up, Alan's a Giant fan knows this. That max the fact that the secondary may not be as good. So you can hit the quarterback. It doesn't matter if your corners aren't covering as much.
Yep, that's the best way to negate if he defending, right? If he's defending in the secondary.
Alan, what do you think of this pick?
If Kwity Paye falls all that way to the Jets and they don't take him, Joe Douglas needs to be fired on the spot.
All right, well, that's some strong words from Alan there, who is up now picking 24th for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And there's been a lot of talk about running backs going to the Steelers here. We'll see if Alan does that now at number 24.
With the number 24 pick, the Pittsburgh Steelers are actually going to take Landon Dickerson, offensive lineman out of Alabama. I don't see the Steelers jumping for the first round running back. I know, Travis Etienne is really, really tempting, but a franchise like the Steelers, they want to like sure up football plays. And I think they're going to take somebody around the line, an Alabama guy who has experience in big games, who's going to be able to help them out, against these brutal matchups coming up with Cleveland and Baltimore. So I'm going to stick with the O lineman. It's not going to be the prettiest pick. It's not going to be the flashiest pick, but it's going to be a pick that they make for football purposes.
Yeah, I think it's a solid pick. I like the logic here. Steelers board here, I think, is good for them, Will, because they have both running backs there, Etienne and Najee Harris out of Alabama. They have some edge rushers. Azeez Ojulari from Georgia is here. They have options.
Absolutely. Like, it's, again, like Alan kind of hinted on, that's just an organization that seems to get it right when they get it right. And when they need the need, they fill the need. So, yeah, I agree.
All right. I'm up now picking number 25 for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And the run lineman has not helped me out much. I had on my list number one guard tackle. A lot of guard tackles have gone. I did think Mike try and wait until the second round, take it with the first pick of the second round. I think we're going to the wide receiver board here. I think that's probably where we are going. And I think we are going with Terrace Marshall out of LSU, add a speedster to go with the core weapons that the Jaguars have. Give another Trevor Lawrence another toy to work with.
I love that.
Yeah.
He doesn't get enough justice.
Yeah, I think this is another slam dunk. Jacksonville needs playmakers. Give Lawrence all the chances he can to succeed, because that division is vulnerable, I'd say. So they might be closer than you think. And I do think their defense had a worse year than they should have last year. So I think they're going to be pretty set. So get as many playmakers as you can around Lawrence.
Absolutely. Pick number 26. Will is up for the Cleveland Browns. And this is an interesting spot because I don't know exactly what the Browns need. So, Will, tell me what they need.
So I've kind of been looking around and so on as we've been doing this, because, again, like some of the guys that I had down here have been picked. So I'm going to say they're going to go get a corner with Greg Newsome here from Northwestern. I know they don't necessarily need it, but I think if you're going to go and look at something, go put Denzel Ward on the other side, get a good partnership at corner here, and on the defense. And offensively, they don't necessarily need a lot. I thought they did a lot of good there. So that's my pick. I think if this is how it falls on draft night, you want to get yourself a corner, get him. Do
you think this is a trade back spot for the Browns? They may see an opportunity to get out of the first round and get more picks?
Again, yeah. So like most of my picks have actually seemed to fall in that way. But again, yeah, like if they have to make a pick and they like it enough, yeah, sure. But again, if somebody wants to call up, like they just don't seem like they absolutely, like at this spot, how this has fallen, I don't see a guy available that they're dying to have.
I think the other one I can see here maybe is Ojulari out of Georgia, because I know they signed Clowney for a 1-year deal. Maybe you have Ojulari learn behind him and then you take his spot in a year. Maybe that's another option.
Yeah, that's a good pick too.
All right.
I apologize. Who did you take for the Browns there?
Greg Newsome.
Yeah.
Okay, so Allen is up now. Number 27 pick. Staying in that division, the Baltimore Ravens. We'll see. They have a lot of interesting options here on the board. So let's see what Allen goes with.
Oh, just bear with me one moment. I lost something real quick. Okay. The Baltimore Ravens will select Azeez Ojulari, edge rusher out of Georgia. You hinted at him before. I think this is where the Ravens go now.
It's a great pick.
Classic Ravens pick. I mean, they just lost Yannick Ngakoue. They just lost Matt Judon. Draft a replacement and go.
Yeah, it's easy. You don't really ever have to question what the Ravens do in the draft.
No, you do not. And I'm up now. Pick number 28. I'm the New Orleans Saints. It's an interesting spot because Drew Brees is retired. They have needs. They could take the flyer here on the quarterback at 28, but I don't think they're going to do that. I think Sean Payton loves Taysom Hill enough. He wants to give him a chance to actually be the quarterback and see what happens here. So they are not doing the Davis Mills thing, although I think I personally would. But pick number 28.
Oh, sorry.
I am going to go to the linebacker board. I'm going to take Nick Bolton out of Missouri. I'm going to give them a linebacker with that defense.
Sorry, Mike. Alonso hit a homer. That's why I said that sound.
All right. So, Alan, what do you think of this pick, Nick Bolton to the Saints?
I have no problem with it. They're another team who they're always it's seemingly they're always drafting towards the end of the draft anyway. Like they know how to scout that 1A/2 tier of talent. So I think this guy will be a nice fit. I think that team though may be drafting a little bit higher next year.
Oh, yeah.
Interestingly enough.
I don't think they're going to be in the top 15 next year.
I could see it. I think Sean Payton's true coaching abilities will be evident in this season.
All right. And we're up now at number 29. We are flying along here in the first round. Only 4 picks left to go. Will is picking for Joe Dalvizio's Green Bay Packers. What are you going to do? Are you going to finally give Aaron Rodgers a first-round receiver?
So we didn't say Rondo Moore, right? I'm sorry. I keep track of it. Yeah. So I actually think the way this falls too, it's actually brilliant because you have I almost said Devonta Smith. You have Devonta Adams already, quite possibly one of like the best, probably maybe even the best wide receiver in the NFL right now. That's Rodgers' go-to guy. Get a guy like Rondo Moore. I know he has injury concerns, but when he was playing, he was an absolute beast. This is like an everything wide receiver. This is the guy that they've kind of tried to, piece it together with a guy like a Lazard, Valdez-Scantling. Like this is the guy who does that stuff, goes downfield, makes the plays, explosive plays, smaller receiver, but you can get away with that because again, you have Devonta Adams already. Like, I think this would be a fantastic pick.
Yeah, Alan, what do you think about this pick?
Great pick. No arguments here.
Yeah, I think it's a fascinating pick as well. Good job there. So we make Aaron Rodgers very happy. And he's hosting Jeopardy. He gets a receiver. Good go offseason for him, Will.
Joe D would be happy too, man. I know they've been dying for a receiver out there.
All right, there we have it. Number 30 now, Alan's last pick of the mock here. He's picking for the Buffalo Bills, who are trying to make up ground the Kansas City Chiefs. What do they do in Buffalo?
Buffalo Bills will take Eric Stokes, the cornerback out of Georgia. This was a very tough pick for me because the Bills, they're pretty well-rounded, but they actually have a couple holes at cornerback that they need to address, whether it's the slot, whether it's, the second side, whatever it may be. I just think, Travis Etienne will be very tempting for them here, but I think he's very similar to Singletary in some ways. So I think they're going to go with cornerback, and it's between Stokes or Asante Samuel Jr. I think Stokes is probably a little better, but it's tough. It's a toss-up here. This was a tough one.
Yeah, I think, Will, that's a good call at the corner there. I think whichever one of them is not there, I think it would be a good candidate for the Jets at 34.
Yeah, definitely. You already have Tre'Davious, so go get another one.
He needs help.
He does.
All right, I'm up now. My last pick number 31 for the Kansas City Chiefs. This has been a very obvious one. They need help on the offensive line, especially a tackle. They're going to go with the top tackle on the board here, Alex Weatherwood out of Alabama. Number 31 will slide in at left tackle, protecting Patrick Mahomes' blind side.
Yeah, I mean, drafting is pretty easy when you have Patrick Mahomes as your quarterback, but also that means, after what happened at Super Bowl can never happen again. So go and get him. And they've addressed the offensive line elsewhere. I think it's a fantastic pick, and it's really the only thing. Yeah, sure, defensively they need something. You literally don't have to touch anything else on offense besides the offensive line. Yeah,
it's a fantastic pick indeed. And finally, number 32, Will is up for the defending Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which they're in an interesting spot because pretty much everybody came back, and they don't really need a ton. So we'll see what the luxury pick is here at 32.
So this one, and I know actually when I was looking at this, I'm like, gosh, they have like a lot of running backs. Why the heck would they need one? But I think they actually draft one. And listen, I'm not going to tell you, like, I have Najee Harris down here just because I think the dude is a beast. I think he's the style of runner in that offense that just downhill, mow you down running back. Just give him. We saw in New England, like when Tom Brady's up there, Sony Michel. Like Sony Michel is more of that finesse almost at times where it didn't really work. Najee Harris to me is kind of like that remember like Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis, and those guys for the Pats, just like big physical dudes who just took the rock and got those dirty yards. I think Najee Harris, he goes there and then you get a running back kind of, a cheaper rookie deal for 5 years because they're kind of doing that weird running back carousel right now.
Yeah, I think that's a good value pick there. I like the option there. I think if I was running a team, I think I'd probably take Christian Barmore, the defensive tackle, because Dominican Sue is getting up there. He's only on a 1-year contract. Villa needs help on the interior. I think Barmore is the other option there. I think Harris, you can't go wrong with it though, Alan.
I would go, wide receiver. I would give the man of the hour whatever he wanted. And, if a guy like, I think he's still available. Is Rashad Bateman still available? Yeah. I think you got to go someone like that. Antonio Brown's up in the air last I checked, and you just got to make Brady happy. He's what got you to the dance. He won you the dance. You give him whatever he needs to succeed, to make plays. So I would actually go Bateman there.
All right, and there you have it. I mean, you can watch the NFL draft on Thursday for about 5 hours. The first round we did in 45 minutes.
Yeah, and we got them all. We got all the picks right.
Yeah, we spoiled the whole draft for you guys, so you don't have to watch.
Yeah, and Pete Alonso hit a home run during it, so that's great.
He did.
Yeah, you have to hop in the Wayback Machine to see that one though, because that was a home run on Thursday, the 22nd against the Cubs. So we're going to the past and the future in this podcast.
It might be the present. Let's hope. I don't know if they have a game next Thursday, but fingers crossed.
They do not have a game next Thursday.
Okay, never mind.
This is like sort of like Lost. We have flashbacks and flash forwards.
We have the Tesseract, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not going to get into Marvel yet. That's coming up next in the podcast. I'm going to join my buddy Dan DiMartini, Justin May, to break down the ends of Falcon Winter Soldier. We recap the whole seat shebang there. Finale airing one day after recording here, but it'll be in your ears a couple of days after the season ends. But it was a lot of fun doing this mock draft. I want to thank you guys for coming on. Give you a chance to do some plugs. Will, how can people follow on social media? Keep up some of the stuff you're doing.
Oh, yeah. So I'm on Twitter at Will Shatter H1, and I'm just kind of right now, actually, I'm kind of making a lull. I'm really focusing on just trying to get some stuff done personally, like looking for jobs and so on. But I do write for Fansided. I get a podcast out, Green Skies, which you can look that up on anywhere you really get podcasts. And then NFL stuff, some Cowboys, a lot of Cowboys writing has been coming out for Fansided for me. So yeah, if you're a Cowboys fan, definitely look into that.
All right, Alan, how about you? How can people follow you on social media? Some stuff you're up to.
Sure. It's Twitter, Allen, ALLEN _Austin _. And then on Instagram, Allen Austin Sports.
All right. There you have it. Thanks, guys.
Oh, hey, wait. Sorry. Don't forget to check out American Scene, the podcast where my co-host Ben and I go over movies with American in the title and, go over their cultural values and impact on the country and if they earn that American name.
Absolutely. Be sure you check that out. Thanks again, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you.